my other mic is not working, but for some reason my main mic is not coming in. Okay, great. So you guys hear me? That's good. How's everybody doing today? Hope everyone's having a great week. I can't believe nobody's here. That's so amazing. Usually there's like a lot of people, but maybe there's something going on somewhere else. What do you guys think? Is there something happening somewhere else I don't know about? Like a holiday or something? Great to see you, Jesus. Great to see you, my friend Steve. You guys are great. Thank you for hanging out with me. It means so much that you guys are here. Two very incredible painters right here, Steve and Mr. Jesus. You guys are both great. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Deloche? I really love the painting you're working on. Really wonderful. Just great job. You know, it's a portrait of a young lady. Really nice, you know, really nice. So I'm glad to see that. And so that's really fantastic. So today we are working, of course, on part 2 of the beautiful and talented Frida Kahlo. And so I'm excited about that, very much so. Very much excited about that. Oh, you got notified at 9:32. Wow, that's late. Yeah, definitely. So hopefully people will trickle in, and if not, the people who were here are supposed to be here. So I am so happy you guys are here, because you guys are meant to be here today. I really 110% believe that. So that is so true. So what I got to do is I'm going to go to Pure Ref, right? And let's see, I'm going to come over here, look for my Frida Kahlo. There she is. Great. And so today the main thing is basically having to do with painting light and shade. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, so Mike says he hates to say, but it looks like his reference pick, still learning control and knowing for a fact that I was trying to go too small. I think you're doing great. You're not giving yourself enough credit, Mr. Deloche. That's really a beautiful picture. Definitely, Steve. I appreciate that, sir. You know, your guys' support means so much to me, and I look forward to it, and it's just amazing. So remember, I went ahead and did those cutouts, right? And we're going to use them because I want to keep everything super clean. This was a painting that I was working on for quite some time, but I just finished her. You guys seen her on Facebook. And hey, Patrick, how are you, my friend? Good to see you, sir. So glad you were here. That is so great. And so we are going to actually, I want to cut out her hair, right? Because I want to paint her hair, but I don't want to paint the background along with the hair, you know? So right now you see I have this part, but we'll keep that separately. So what I would do is I would take this away and thank you so much, Jesus. I appreciate that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put her aside for now, and I'm going to bring out my cutting board. So it's good to see you. Hey, Todd, how's it going? Todd and Patrick in the house. Now the party's getting started, right? This is definitely eyeglass territory, so let me get my glasses. So what I am going to do, let me see here. I'm just going to extend this all the way down to right about here. There we go. And 9 and counting, yes. So we're getting back. We're getting back there. So let me get my glasses, my friend. Yeah, I think people are going to start trickling in. And as you see, I'm just cutting along here. I don't have the sharpest blade here. That's my fault. Gotta get some blades. But you know, you figure this is just, it takes a second, but it's really going to make a big difference, everybody. So, you know, you take a few minutes and that really helps. And let me just get a different contrast. There we go. Okay. And we're just going to move this down. Oh wow! So rub it on the bottom of a coffee cup, and that will actually sharpen it. Oh, thank you so much, Chris Garcia. How are you, sir? So glad you're here, my friend. So let's see. I still do the 1 second rule when I cut things like the hair here. Still the 1 second rule. And let's see if I can go this way here. I don't want to tear up the paper. But this is really not to paint the shape or anything like that. This is basically, the only reason I'm doing this is the fact that I need to keep the face clean and the background clean. So that's my only motivation for making this. Okay, we'll make this here. And it will just come down like so. There we go. Let's see how this breaks off. Don't pull it off if it's not cutting or it's not pulling off, so make sure that you don't yank it off and get a jagged edge. Okay, great. So I'm going to put this aside, and then we're going to use this to paint in her hair, the large areas of the hair, of course. So let's see what I missed. Wow, that is a great idea. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. Hey, Colin, how you doing? Great to see you all the way from Canada. How you been, sir? Thank you so much. I'm so glad to see you. How you been? Now, Colin is starting, he has a YouTube channel, and he does some amazing watercolor and airbrush work, so definitely check it out. If you can, Colin, put in the description, in the field there, you know, in the comments, your YouTube channel, so people can check it out. And I know they'll enjoy your work. It's really great. And then I'm just going to put her, let's see, put Frida right here. Let's see how this goes. I'm a little bit high on this. Maybe I could bring this a little tad bit lower and over. There we go. Ah, so glad to hear it. Not bad, my friend. Staying out of trouble, or doing my best to stay out of trouble, you know. Seems like there's never enough hours in the day, always working lately. But it's a good work. It's, you know, on the channel and everything. So I enjoy it. Okay, so even though I'm doing something like this, I have to make sure that I gotta make sure that I'm still doing the 1 second rule, right? Still paying attention to what's happening. Important consideration is to bring your magnets very close to the edge. That assures that you don't have any underspray, right? You have overspray and underspray. Always spray away from your shield, right? That's so important, to spray away from it. So that's really, really cool. Hey Brad, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. So glad you're here, sir. I'm not going to do so much the borders. I'm going to paint that later. I don't need, you know, all this like border, you know, her hair, that's right, bordering, you know, the side of her head and the scalp hairline and everything. I'm going to do that freehand. I just want to darken her hair without getting it on her face. And nothing more horrible than overspray on white on her face, right? That's not good for anybody. 11, all right, we're getting there. So guys, did Coast Airbrush have a late live stream or something? That's usually what happens. Wow, Brad, happy birthday, my friend. Wow. You look amazing for that age. I wouldn't even think you were close to that, sir. So that's good. One thing about Brad is that, you know, I know him for some time now, thank God. It's nice. It's an honor to know him and call him a friend. and he always is learning new stuff, not just airbrushing, but photography. He's learning new stuff with, you know, being a master woodworker. He's also learning music, the guitar. I mean, the guy's amazing. So that's what keeps you young, sir. So happy birthday, my friend. All the best. Colin says, I'm gonna need a huge a huge stencil for Frida's eyebrows. That's funny. And it's so great now because now I have the ability to go ahead and, you know, darken up. Now I don't want to darken up the hair all the way to what color it is, what value it is now, because if I do, I'm going to throw everything out of balance. And that's something we don't want to do. We want to keep balance. We want to keep things darkening gradually, you know? So I'll revisit her hair. I just wanted to establish. I'm going to stay in that detail mixture, right? Always spray away from the freehand shield. I'm about 4 inches away, more or less. Hey Paul, how you doing? Great to see you. Yes, it does work very well. I've done full paintings on canvas and it works amazing. You just got to make sure that you gesso it well and keep it relatively smooth, right? You would want to work big because the grain of the canvas is big, so if you're trying to work something small, like a head about, you know, about yay big or something like that, then you're going to have a hard time fighting that texture. Unless, of course, you gesso it, Colin, you know, like a lot. And then when you gesso it a lot, and then you sand it in between, you'll get a nice smooth surface, and then the airbrush will work perfect with it. But it all depends on the size, right? But I've done this on India ink on wood panels. I've done it on canvas. I worked on basically everything, and it all depends on the size of your work, you know. So good to see you, Paul. So glad you're here. And like I said, I'm not going to go too dark with her hair, but I just want to establish. And what I'm going to be doing is establishing some really beautiful hard edges here. So good to see you, Paul. Everything's doing okay. I walked about 2 miles today. It's always great whenever you have a lot on your mind. I used to walk when I worked at Amazon for 10 years, and the last like 5-6 years, I would say the last 6 years, we were in a building on the Hudson River facing New York City on the Jersey side, and every day on my lunch I would walk along the Hudson. And then I got out of the habit of walking, so just recently, I would say in the last month, I started walking almost every day during lunch hour, you know, and I work from home, so I have to be a little more diligent. So today I took 2 walks, so I walked about 2 miles today. Let's see how this looks. Dun dun dun. Okay, very nice. So you see we have a nicest, two things happened. The first thing is we darkened her up nicely. Let's bring back the effects here. And let's bring back the contrast. Let's see. Contrast, bring that up. That's looking better. And now let's bring on some light. There we go. So it's looking pretty good, so I'm happy. And so that's cool. Hey, Brad, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that so much, my friend. I really appreciate it. And so thank you so much. Clutch says, Tim, walking keeps your heart rate in the correct BPM for maximum fat burning weight loss so that you do not risk losing muscle tissue from overexertion. Oh, great, great. So walking is really good, huh? That's funny. You guys are great. And Brad, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You know, it's the super chat, which is, oh, the super chat should be working, sir. There should be a $sign right at the bottom of the chat. You know, if you get around to it, that's great. I appreciate that. But thank you guys, and thank you, Brad. I appreciate it. It's always fantastic. So that is really cool. Oh, you have to make sure that you should be logged in, right? So guys, I'm going to be right back. I'm just going to go to the little gentleman's room. Talks amongst yourselves, and we're going to get right into the nitty-gritty of this. Thank you so much, everybody, for waiting. I appreciate you still. Hey, how you doing? Thank you so much, Patrick, for the super chat. I really appreciate that, sir. Thank you. Hey, Patty, how are you? And so that is so amazing. You know, Patrick and Brad, two very, very gifted artists, and I really appreciate that. That really helps with the channel a great deal. Actually keeps me afloat, which is really important. So thank you so much, and from the bottom of my heart, guys. Thank you. Hey there, Bob. How you doing, Squeeze? Great to see you, all the way from San Francisco. Great to see you, sir. That is so cool. Now, Bob is a really talented artist. He just showed me a painting he did of a, I believe it was like a neon angelfish, and he did a combination of airbrush and pastel, which is what I do as well, and really beautiful stuff. So great job, sir. Great job. Thank you for sharing that with me. You all are just so talented, that's for sure. So it's an honor to see your work and to be around such talented people tonight. So I'm looking for my detail mixture. I'm running low, believe it or not. So let's see here. I'm just going to come over here, and we're going to put 4 drops of the detail mixture. Since I'm still working lightly and building up my darks, I'm going to do 4 and 4. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yes, the Queen Angelfish. Yes. So so Bob said he was, you know, watching the Saturday Night live streams and everything, and he got inspired. And if I can inspire great artists like you guys, then that's a big honor for me. Let's see. And whenever you go ahead and test your airbrush, you always test your airbrush off to the side whenever you refill or anything like that. You can never be too sure, you know. Yes, the Mike Patton painting. Yeah, you're doing really well on that, Mr. Patrick. That is really fantastic. Patty, well, you inspire me, that's for sure. So I love what you're doing lately. It's really fantastic. You know, those figurines and everything, those figures so lifelike. You do great work. Really amazing. And also you make amazing ornaments too. Just very, very talented with the airbrush. Let's see. Bring this over to the side here. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to begin painting the hairline there. So I do like these little tiny dagger strokes. Very soft. And the trick with this is just make sure that you get the angles of the hair. That's the most important, especially in the scalp area. If you change it, it would be no, it's true, Patty. Definitely, you do amazing work. I had too much dinner. I had a lot of rice, and it was yellow rice, and I ate a lot, and I was just foolish. So now I'm paying the price, guys. Hopefully I'll feel better by the end of the live stream. Eventually I'm going to remove the pencil lines. The pencil lines are like training wheels. Look at it that way, you know. Yeah, San Francisco is just a cool place. One of my favorite cities in the world. Hey Blue, how you doing? Great to see you. How's everything? Congratulations on your test. And I hear that you passed the test. Is that true? Yeah, you would love San Francisco. It's the best of both worlds in so many different ways. One of the things is I love that you can go to the beach, you could spend time in the city, you can go to Golden Gate Park. I mean, it's a very European city. It really is. And very intelligent city and diverse, and it's just great. It's like you went to Europe. Long time ago, I dated a girl who lived on Filbert Street, which is not the most crooked street, but it is it was the steepest hill in San Francisco. And where I was staying, it was really quite historic. When I would go see her. Yeah, definitely. You're doing some great pieces there, Blue. Definitely enjoy them as well. And just ever so softly, I'm just working on her hair. Maybe I could pull this back just a little bit so we could see more of her hair. There we go. Okay, that's good. Oh man, those hills are deadly. I've never seen such crazy city hills before. I've seen hills like that, but not in the city, right? That's unbelievable. Very picturesque, very like, you just know that the city was kind of constructed in a haste because of the gold rush of 1840s and everything like that. So everything was, all the cities are weird. I mean, all the streets are weird and kind of haphazard, you know. Coit Tower is really cool. I like Coit Tower a lot, you know. Colin says, Tim, I have seen some guys take a Badger 100 side feed and retrofit it with Sotar parts. No, yeah, I mean, I think, who did that? I think my guest did that very thing. And yeah, I think it's cool. You know, there are drawbacks to everything. I love the 100, and you know, putting a head assembly from a Sotar is definitely an upgrade. But I love the 105s. You know, the detail 105s. That to me is like the top of the control echelon. A lot of people say it's the Sotar, but no, it's the Patriot. It it's a little better designed, I think, because it has a very similarity of the Eclipse. And when I used to work with Iwatas, I used to love the Eclipse because of that cone-shaped nozzle in there, and that was always so much better than those little tiny skinny little nozzles that you see in the Sotar, and also you see in the custom microns. So although you get great detail with those brushes, they're unreliable and they're constantly breaking down, and to me that's just not cool, you know. Hey Zeus, have a great night, my friend. Take care, sir, and I'll see you Friday morning for class. Jesus is in the mentorship program, so that's really cool. It's always great to hang out with him, and he's a very talented artist. Yes, it does have that floating cone, definitely. And I think that's the best design in airbrush for detail and longevity, and by far those little tiny nozzles. I think it's a floored design, honestly. They are easy to break, definitely. That's why I don't like them, and they get clogged very easily. So you're constantly, you know, if you're working with acrylic or anything thick like that, you're spending most of your time just cleaning it out, which is horrible. Oh, thank you so much, Blue. I appreciate that with the super chat. Thank you. I really appreciate it. That really helps. And that's so encouraging. I just want to say thank you. And, you know, you, Patrick, and Brad, thank you so very much. It's an honor. I'm very touched, guys. So we had 17 people here, so that's good. So it was pretty slow going for a while. Seems like things have picked up a bit, which is very nice to see and hear. Thank you so much, honey. I really appreciate it. Blue, you are amazing. And as you can see, I'm just coming in here and starting to do some of the light and shade, some of the sheer zygomatic arch. It's very, very light, and I'm just going to with great subtlety, and that's what we want to do this with, great subtlety. So I'm going to be quite far away, so that's important when you're doing subtlety with the airbrush, is you want to stay far away. The reason is that if you stay far away, you're going to go super light, and you can always go darker. So always use the distance to your advantage, right? So go. Oh, those nozzles that you get, you know, with the custom microns and also the Sotars, they are so delicate. I dropped a micron nozzle, no exaggeration, 5 feet onto my porcelain sink, and it cracked. Those things break easily. You know, even the Badger 105s, the one that I use for my customized Xtreme Patriot arrow, they're also delicate, but not as delicate as those little ones. And Brad says, Tim, where'd you get such a great reference photo? I basically just Googled Frida Kahlo, and just kept searching until I found something that was interesting. Thank you so much, Bob, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. Thank you, sir. That is so great. Just an honor. Squeeze Bob does some amazing paintings that I mentioned earlier. He purchased the Xtreme Patriot arrow, and he's also an airbrush artist like myself. So it's great to see you and to exchange ideas and everything like that. So thank you so much for supporting the channel, Bob. That means so much to me. And so far, you all have been just so amazing. Brad, Honey, Patrick, and now Bob. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you. So that is so cool. I am very honored. So you see here, we have on her cheek, it's dark up here, but then dissipates before it goes to the corner of her mouth. So I'm just going to be looking for a, maybe like a mono eraser, something not too aggressive. Make sure that it's dry, and then I'm just going to very lightly come up here. And now maybe I could start doing some erasing, right? And that's going to be great. So let's see here. Erase some of these pencil lines. Get rid of our training wheels, right? So let me get my airbrush glove, which is great. Oh, definitely. So Mr. Patrick wants to see the reference photo. Let me see if I could find that real quick. Let's see, Frida, where are you? Let's see. Ooh, my stomach's feeling a little bit better. Hopefully the rice is digesting. Oh boy, I ate too much. That was ridiculous of me. Oh my God. Let's see, where are you, Frida? A lot of times when I'm looking for somebody, they're usually in downloads. Let me see if I can find her. Oh, there she is. Great. So what I'll do is I'll just add this image, and I'm going to go to downloads. There she is. Okay, there's Frida. Very cool. So you guys can see. And Patty, have a great night. Always a pleasure. And you don't work too hard tomorrow or Friday, okay? And so take care, Patty. Thanks so much for hanging out. I really, really appreciate that. And so we were basically working on getting rid of some of these training wheels here. And that's what we're going to do. We're missing quite a number of people today. I know I was unable to get a link because YouTube is now allowing me to actually schedule a live stream, so I don't know the code until the last moment. Let's see if I can get a little more of aggressive of an eraser here. Oh, we'll be back to school for some folks. Yes, that's true. The kids and everything, right? Getting ready, school shopping, all that stuff. It is August, right? So I guess, I know in Florida the kids are back in school already, and here in New Jersey, kids are getting ready for school, it seems. Going to calm down some of these pencil lines here. Thank God they're in pencil, and thank God it's an India ink. If this was acrylic, the pencil lines would be trapped in there. So that's why it's good working with the India inks. One of the many reasons why it's good to work with that. Hey Nicholas, how are you today? Good to see you, sir. How's everything? Is this your first time with us? So welcome, sir. So glad you're here. Let's see. I want something a little less aggressive than this. Let's see. This might do it, but I'm going to sharpen it first. Okay, and so basically just want to calm down some of these pencil lines here. There, see, this is right in the middle of the other two. The other one was just way too aggressive. There we go. And then over here on this side, we have a little bit of pencil lines we can kind of get rid of. Let's see. So I'll use my freehand shield here. And I'm just going to put this here, perpendicular and not parallel. There we go. Just get separation from the nose, from her nose. That is, oh yes, that's what Frida said. Definitely. That is great. That's a wonderful quote by her. Yeah, and she really endured, didn't she? She had a lot of heartache, that poor baby. And I think that's why her artwork was so memorable, because some people could use their pain for creation, you know, make something beautiful out of it, much like Van Gogh did, you know. And so yeah, definitely, that's a great quote by Frida. I want to do this dark, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to mess it up and get all kinds of overspray and everything. So I do have one that is covering her forehead here, and I think this is the one. Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this over here, because you're not going to get a hard edge like that without getting some overspray. So I want the best of all worlds, right? I don't want the overspray, and I want to get that hard edge. Nothing fancy with this, just a photocopy of the same size, and just cut it out, and that's it. And then we have this, so you can practice here, and then come right on here. This is one of the cases where you're not going perpendicular, but parallel, because it is such a thin line. Okay, let's see how this looks. There we go, nice hard edge there. Gives really nice sense of dimension of her forehead going, you know, into space towards the background and coming towards us. Oh, so Patrick says the best focal point for him on this is her nose, and it's spot on. Ah, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Yeah, so that's a very important thing to keep, because that's really going to separate one side of her face to another. We have to get that correct, you know? Oh, wow. Mike Deloach says, sounds like Frida spent time on Coronado Beach. Let's see, right here on her neck. Just going to... Here we're going perpendicular and not parallel. There we go. Oh, I didn't know you were in the Navy, Patrick. That's very cool. And that's really neat. I mean, that's not neat. That's amazing. And I could definitely stand to darken her lips a little bit. Let's hit that hard edge, shall we? Let's go ahead and put this back on. I want to hit that hard edge with a little bit of confidence. So let's do that. So we don't have a dark here, but right along here we do have a nice dark here. Let's make this happen. And let's see. Oh, so okay, yeah, me too. One day I thought I was going to, and so very cool. And Mike, you were a Navy guy, huh? Is that true? And that's really neat. I mean, not neat. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm saying that, but that's amazing. Thank you for, protecting our country. And the same thing when you're doing things like the eyebrows, just make sure you get the direction of the eyebrows, right? That's so much more important than anything. You get the direction of those hairs incorrect, and it's going to change the whole shape of her head. So it's crucial. And that's where that 1 second rule really comes into place. Comes into play, I should say. Okay. So like I always do, I always move around, and I say that's important to all my students, is to make sure you move around a lot, because this way you're painting the ensemble and not just a series of parts, right? So I'm just continuing to work on the forest first, and then work on the trees when it comes to this eyebrow here. And I have this semi-aggressive eraser here. And I'm just going to continue building on this. And since I have the detail mixture that's even diluted further, I have a lot of control. With this airbrush and the India inks, it really gives me a lot of control. She did, yes, and she even exaggerated it in her paintings, you know. She was always a little bit rebellious, to say the least. She came from a large family. Hey Bill, how you doing? Thank you so much, sir. How you doing? And how is Sue feeling? So I'm so glad you're here, sir. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's always great to see you. Mr. Bill Snegan is an amazing airbrush artist. He has his own live streams on Tuesday nights at 6 o'clock now. And he does some really amazing things. So thank you so much for coming by. So that's a big honor. And so Mr. Patrick says, Squeeze, Tim, and I are working on a portrait of Mike Patton. It's pretty complicated for his skill level, but it's looking well. Oh, wow. That's so cool. Yeah, Patrick's project we're working on, Mike Patton, he's doing a really great job. Really is. And there's a little detail here, not much. You just see a little bit of the crease of the eye there. Just the tiniest amount there. Mr. Steve, it's 3:30 in the morning over here in the UK, and his daughter's here, so he's going to be up very early. Yes, thank you so much for hanging out. And, oh, Tilly, how are you, Tilly? You are the best. It's great to see you. Hanging out with your granddad. That is amazing. So that's cool. So I'm looking forward to hearing about you watching the live stream, Tilly. I hear you're a very good artist. And no, you're doing really well. You're exceeding my expectations there, Patrick. Definitely. Have a great night, Mr. Steve. Thank you so much for hanging out. I really appreciate it, sir. And so now I'm just going to continue moving around because there are some places that are a little bit dark, little light and shade, but very, very subtle. So I'm about 4 inches away, just kind of doing some of the anatomical spots of her there. 7 p.m. Oh, 7 p.m. 6 only for yesterday. Okay, great. Okay, so correction. Steve Snegan on Facebook at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays. He has a great live stream. Definitely check it out. He does a lot of different techniques and really very informative. Oof. I am having a bad stomach ache, and hopefully I will be okay. I'm just trying to so it comes and goes, right? There's times when it just goes away and then it comes back. So hopefully it's going to be gone before the end of the live stream. Something like this is very high key, meaning that there aren't a lot of light and shadow. It's mostly light. So we have to be very, very subtle with this. We don't have the ability for those great lights and darks. Oh, so it was white rice, and I ate a lot of it, and I ate hot sauce with it, so I think those two things are probably not the best, you know? And I shouldn't have done it, but I did. And it was so close to the live stream time, and I was kind of eating it fast, just a bad combination. Oh, now I can start doing some of the hairs there, you know, the larger hairs. Thanks so much, Steve. I really appreciate you, sir. Just doing some of these larger shapes right here. And now I can start getting rid of some of these pencil lines a little bit here and there. Never get rid of the pencil lines before you're ready though, okay? That's an important consideration. Let's see. Yeah, that wasn't, hey Nameless, how you doing? No, wasn't my smartest move. Not my brightest hour. That's for sure, Nameless. Things were a lot easier when I had a wife. A lot easier, but such is life. At least I had someone to say, don't eat that much, right? Oh yes, it was totally fresh, you know, clean kitchen, boiled it, and you know, I had it in the pantry, you know, it was, you know, dry rice and just cooked it up, and yeah, it wasn't too bad, you know, and I ate it right away, so that's a good thing. Oh, so right here, I can erase this where there's going to be a dark on the edge. I don't need the pencil line anymore. So it's great when you don't need that pencil line and you know it, then you can go ahead and darken that. But don't do it a moment before. While I'm here, let me just put some dimension in her lip here. There we go. Frida is actually a very beautiful woman. I painted her several times. She has very classical features. And I believe she was half Jewish, half Mexican. Very interesting combination. And she used to call America Gringolandia, which was funny. Yeah, exactly. Just kind of bloated, my friend. Todd, have a great night. Always a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much. Don't work so hard out there in San Diego, okay, sir? Nameless says, every man needs a good wife to slap the fork out of the hand. Be like, hey, don't stick that in the electrical outlet. Bob has another great quote. Let's hear it. Bob says, nothing's worth more than laughter. It is strength to laugh and to abandon oneself, to be light. Wow, that's a great quote. So once again, I'll repeat that. So one of Frida Kahlo's quote is, nothing is worth more than laughter. It is strength to laugh and to abandon oneself to the light, to be light. That's wonderful. Thank you for that, sir. And Patrick says he finds sometimes when he goes to erase, he only removes the pencil, and other times If the ink has time to set for a few days, he removes more ink than he ever expected. It's that my choice of eraser. Yeah, you know, you never know what you're gonna get. You know, I mean, it's always, I always test it out. You know, I find where there's more where there's more ink, it does make a bigger difference when you erase because of the contrast. But I think what I always do, and this is a good rule of thumb, is I always start with a least aggressive eraser as possible and go more and more aggressive as I need it. We don't want to pick up the most aggressive eraser for something that doesn't need that, right? So always keep that in mind. And her ear is very interesting. I'm going to, let's see, just dust on the inside there. Because the inside is, there we go. So you see how we're creating that where the outside is a lot lighter. Something like the ear, if you get it correct, it's going to really support the painting in helping it to look very realistic and three-dimensional. Yeah, it looks like a Spock thing, but her hair is this is rounded, but it's actually getting covered by her hair. So it does appear that way, Patrick, doesn't it? So true. And there's like a dark ridge right on the outside of her helix there on her ear. And we'll just put this in here. And we have some erasing to do here as well. Remember, only erase what you see. I mean, only paint in what you see. There you go. Okay, everybody, I'll be right back. Please hold. And let's see. I will talk amongst yourselves. Always a pleasure hanging out with everybody. I'm not going away. I'm just going to be gone for a moment. And I'm just going to play a little music while I'm gone. Oh, let's see this one. Hey guys, I'm back. Thank you so much for holding. I appreciate that. Even if I'm not feeling well, I always do my best to give you all a full 2 hours. And today's no exception, you know? So, even though I'm not feeling too hot, we have 37 minutes to go, and I'm going to try and give you all the full 2 hours because it's so important to me. Toilet music, that's funny. Hot tea, I will try that. With lemon or milk? Thanks, Paul. John, how are you, sir? Good to see you. Oh, man, so you got sick? What happened? Was it a stomach flu, sir? Oh, wow, bad cold. Were you afraid it was COVID? Nameless, you read my mind. That's what I'm chewing on right now is the Tums. Hopefully that will do the trick, right, sir? That's right, Nameless, you were. Oh my God, that's so true. I'm so glad you're feeling better, Mr. Nameless. Thank God for that. Oh, that's a good idea. That's so true. Thank you for that. I was not thinking about that. I should have chill out on the water, right? Oh my goodness. That's a very good point, Patrick. Thank you. Oh, so we're working on her ear here. And I'm just going to come back over here. Now, even though you're working in lights and darks, a lot of times when you're working high key like this, the values are very close to one another. So you got to make sure that you're not making those shadows too dark. They're extremely subtle. So you have to be very far away from the surface with the airbrush and use the detail mixture diluted 1-to-1 with water, at least in the beginning. Some pencil lines here we can get rid of. And her Cupid's bow has a very interesting shape right over here. Sort of like a dragon's tooth. Blue, have a great night. I really appreciate that. And don't work too hard, and I hope your weekend is a really amazing around the corner. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Interesting. I think Iwata is a very good airbrush. and I'm not against Iwata or anything like that. They're great, and I did own, basically, I had 2 custom microns. I had the side feed Eclipse, which was my favorite Iwata, but I eventually sold them when I found this airbrush, and I knew that, you know, this airbrush does everything for me. But no, I don't use them anymore. The great thing about Iwata, which is really good, it's a great airbrush, but also the resale value is really high. So that's a good thing. I'm not going to bash them. I will talk about, you know, how much I love my airbrush and how inexpensive it is in comparison and what it could do. But I'm not going to say bad things about Iwata. It's a good brush. I mean, it got me through my early years and gave me a lot of control. I had one of the Hairline airbrushes. Those were fantastic when you're starting out. So yes, they are good airbrushes, but I don't use them anymore. I'm a Badger guy. I believe in the company, and you know, Ken's a really great guy, and I like working with him, and I love pushing Badger, and you know, I like what they're doing. So the prices on the parts now, is that with my airbrush, Nicholas, or for Iwata? And I'll wait for your answer on that. And thanks for the question, Nicholas. Oh, let's continue on her ear a little bit. Ooh, more pencil lines to get rid of. So the Xtreme Patriot Arrow, the parts are extremely inexpensive for this, like fractions of what you would pay for Harder and Steenbeck or Iwata, you know. You know, it's that's one of the reasons why I love the Badger products, is they are very inexpensive, the parts. And I'm just saying, someone like me, where that makes a big difference, that was an important consideration. You know, owning airbrushes that when the head assembly was damaged or something, it was quite pricey for someone like me to afford. So Iwata, yes. So the Iwata prices for the microns were pretty up there. You know, the needles weren't too bad. They were around $20 for a needle. But the nozzle was about $50. This was back the last time I used them, back in 2018. The head assembly was around $150. So they can, depending on your budget, they can be quite pricey. But when you go down to the Eclipses, they get a lot more affordable. So everything is probably half when you get down to the Eclipse as far as the replacement. Now remember, this is like, the thing is with Iwata is these are very finely machined products. So they're very delicate, but it's like a Ferrari, you know. You have a Ferrari and it gets damaged, well, you need an oil change, a lot of money, you know. So basically it's crucial to you know, it's very crucial to make sure that that you're able to keep up, you know, if you have the custom micron, because it's going to be upkeep, because they are very delicate. And Clutch says he respects me highly for not bad-mouthing Iwata. He has 2 badges now. He's disappointed in one that he got, and the one he got from me worked so well. No need for me to seek greener pastures. Yeah, I'm a kind of utilitarian kind of guy, I own a Chevy and everything like that. Um, so it's all your personality, right? And Paul says he's starting to get the hang of. You're starting to get a hang of the Xtreme Patriot Arrow, and it works great with the inks and the Create Text illustration. And it can. Thank you, sir. Yes, Paul, I appreciate that. One of the keys to the Xtreme Patriot Arrow, I feel, is this pack valve right here. Getting that honed in is even better than having something down here as far as a Mac valve. So I really love that. So that's really great. And Nameless says he think Kent Lynn and Steve Leahy said they're around $50 for the nozzle. Yeah, they were about 50 back in 2018, so they haven't gone up, so that's good. And so Bob says, wonderful light flow again. Thank you, sir. Bringing the light of hope out of her pain life. Thank you so much, Bob. Great to see you. Always a pleasure, and thank you for sharing your work with me today. Cheers, my friend. And Brad says, Tim goes out of his way to get all the little bugs out. Just got one a few months ago, and it's like an extension of his arm. Seems like he's been using it. Thank you so much for that, Brad. Yeah, 3 hours or more I spend making sure that the airbrush is perfect before it leaves my studio. I basically check everything, so nothing gets by me. No one gets an airbrush where the valve is faulty. No one gets an airbrush where the needle is broken or needle is bent. So I make sure everything is perfect before it leaves my studio. And Nicholas says the one thing he's noticed is the needle quality is not that great. Is that with Badger or is that with Iwata? I know the Iwata needles are really nice, same thing with the with the Badger. They have really nice needles. The thing I find that really helps is taking some sandpaper and polishing it, and that does wonders, And so thank you for your insight on that. Nameless says, any advice for the first time Iwata owners? Don't want to break it in first day or lose some mystery screw. So when you have your airbrush at first, you want to just basically put it through its paces, do everything. Put thin paint in there, not so thin paint, so you could raise the air pressure. Make sure that it's doing everything that you want. When you get an airbrush from me, of course you don't have to do that because I ran it through its paces. But when you get something from a manufacturer, you want to make sure that you don't have any air leaks. You want to make sure that there's nothing with the nozzle. You want to make sure there's no bubbling in the cup. All those different things you want to make sure when you get your airbrush. So that's really important. So good question. Clutch says, in experience, Tim, modified brushes react the same as anything else reacts once you start putting heavy pigment in them. The nozzle size being the main factor, and Tim's extra long needles go pretty fine. Yeah, one of the things that, when I took years just to work with the inks, I realized that no matter what you're spraying, it doesn't matter, that you have to get it to the consistency of an ink. You can't get away with having something thicker. So let's say if you're using acrylic, you still have to get it to the viscosity of the ink. Otherwise, it's not going to go through. Airbrushes were not made for acrylic. They were made for things like dyes and watercolors and India inks. And the thing is, the paint manufacturers are trying to tell us that ink is good for the acrylic is good for the airbrush. In fact, it isn't. The only way you'll get through it is by diluting it. And you just got to make sure you walk that fine line from diluting it and not getting it too dilute that the pigment breaks up. So you got to find that fine line, right? And thanks. Brad said, take my brush out of the box, put needle in, and then paint. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And Patrick says he saw recently someone building their own airbrush on Facebook. I think it was you. It might have been. I did. I do have a couple of airbrush videos that when you do get this airbrush, that you can you know how to put it in, you know how to put the needle in and everything. And Nicholas says, what a micron not being that sharp and polished when looking at it 53 times. Yeah, I usually sharpen the airbrush needles myself, especially before I send them out to you guys. Brad says, even if you get it to the viscosity of ink, it's still going to dry faster. That's a very good point. That's actually a very good point. And so, moral of the story, the best thing to shoot through an airbrush is inks, dyes, and watercolors. So no matter what you do, something like an acrylic paint is not going to be ideal. And that's rough, because in the airbrush world, it's all India inks, right? I mean, not India inks, it's all acrylic. But the thing is, if you're not careful, you're setting yourself up for failure, and you don't want to do that. So you see, if I'm really far away, I have to be like maybe 8 to 9 inches to get some of these really subtle value shifts here. And I'm going to do that right here, probably about 8 inches away. Just lightly spray that. And then right here on her forehead, I'm going to be about 10 inches away. Ever so subtly there. See, the values are so close. But if you don't have that closeness, then if you're much closer, it's going to get too dark too soon. We don't want that, right? And Mike Deloach says, I did a post of the first one, but not the process. Oh, okay. Nicholas says, oh, okay. Brad says dries faster. Clutch says some of the paints he has just clogged and clogged and clogged, and even in 0.5 nozzle they do the same. Just pack up like, yeah. Another thing is, you know, the thicker the paint, you have to, of course, raise your air pressure. So it's 3 things that help is air pressure, distance, and the thickness of the paint, whatever you're using. So you sort of have to tune in those 3, right? You have to sort of find that sweet spot. But the thing I love about my inks and why I invented them is because I don't have to do anything to them most of the time. They can spray straight out of the airbrush, straight out of the bottle, and have no problem. And let's see, so we can work on the back of her neck a little bit. Let's do that. Again, I'm going to be quite a distance away, just to get that subtlety. And we'll do some of her hair here. And we'll work on the cast shadow a little bit. And there's some drawing that I missed. So let's take care of that now, shall we? Right over here. This comes down right over here like this. And then we have this here. And like always, the angles are important when you're drawing stuff in. See if I just zoom that in there so you can see. Don't forget, guys, if you haven't purchased the Xtreme Patriot Arrow or the India inks, please check them out. The links are in the description. And I have a sale on ink this week, 20% off, which is really great. So check that out if you get a chance. Looks like I'm going to make it, guys, to the 1/3 to 11:30, so that's good. So I always thank God I'm able to push through when I'm not feeling well, so you guys can still get, you know, the full 2 hours, and I'm happy to do that. I think consistency is really important. I'm going to use just to get rid of a little overspray here. Okay, now we have some pencil lines. Let's see if we can get rid of them, so this way we don't rely on the pencil lines. Let's see. And then right here, I went a little overzealous. Right here on this edge here, so definitely have to take care of business over here. Clutch says, thoughts of a 24-hour live feed. You know, I did think of doing a whole weekend, you know, just have the in the background and stuff like that. You know, I go to the store, come back, see who's here, just start working, you know. I'm thinking of doing something like that. I think it would be fun. Why not, right? What do I got to lose? People can drop in, look at my studio, see if I'm working. I'm usually working about 9-10 hours a day, so it would be cool. Now there's right here, there's a little bit of a dark spot, but I'm not worried about that. Remember, when you have any kind of error, don't try and fix it now. Think about it and come back to it, right? And I find that if I darken what's around it, usually as I go further, I don't even have to erase it. So that's why it's important not to attack anything right away. So just, you know, assess the situation, step back, and then have a plan. And that's the best way to handle it in airbrush or in life, I think. Not just art. And let's see, Mike S. Hey Mike S, how you doing? Make a trip plugging. If you guys want to make tip plugging less likely, start straining your paint through fine micron strainers. That's a good idea too, sure, if you're working like that. Oh, okay, and Nicholas has a question here. Nicholas says, first paint type was automotive. Oh yeah, House of Color PPG. And you like to mix it like 115, like you would with a large spray gun. Took you a while to realize it and over reduce it. Wow, that's pretty cool. So that's excellent, you know. So I think that's great. So that is really very cool. And yeah, you know, I found urethanes where I only worked in urethanes a few times. Hey, Mike S., always a pleasure. And but they're deadly, you know, they really are. So I stay away from urethanes. I used to get sore throats and everything, so I stopped that. But urethanes were great because they did have rich color and they were the consistency of inks. And that was another thing that got me really thinking about the inks, because the acrylics just couldn't hold a candle to the urethanes. And feeling good about the painting. The painting's going slow, but as you know, I'm not in a rush, and never in a rush when it comes to painting. Even if it's a commission, they're going to have to wait, unfortunately. Otherwise, they're going to wish they did wait, because they want to do the best job. And that's why I always take my time, whether it be a live stream in my studio or anywhere for that matter. Yeah, that's the thing. The inks really do make a big difference with the cleanup. So true. Very true. Makes a huge difference. Uh, and plus, the little bottles, you don't need cups or anything. Just a couple of drops at a time in your airbrush, that's all you need. That's it, right? So that makes a big difference. Let's see. Move her over here. And then I'll move this over like so. We put Frida over here like that. And me over here. And I can move her over. Cool. Okay. That's really good. So let's take a look at the center of her eyebrows here. And I'm just going to ever so lightly little bit of half tone right there. And I do see I got a little overzealous, carried away over here. Soften up her eye there. Oh, so that's why, so Nicholas agrees that's why he switched to the waterborne. The colors of urethane paint hasn't matched yet, but acrylics is getting close to be that vibrant. Oh, that's good to know. Definitely, Nick. I appreciate that. And Clutch says, once his new pup figures out how he can make it down the stairs, he's sure he will be down here getting in his business. That's true. He'll be hanging around you all the time, Patrick. And Mike says he's using the ink method to develop skill and control, then we'll develop the illustration colors. You know what's great about these is that they work well with the illustration colors, and use these as a underpainting. And you can be surprised how a good grisaille, which basically the 19th century French academics use underpaintings almost exclusively, and it just, you know, the inks are fantastic because they're thin, so when you use thicker acrylics over it, they work perfectly as an underpainting is intended to be worked with, which is great. Here we go. let's see. So we got 7 minutes to go. That's really great. So I'm very happy with that. So thanks so much for using the ink method. That's cool. And Mike S says, Clutch, how do you know you have a real loving pup? And then Mike says, just keep forgetting to feed them. And Mike says that Nicholas, if you haven't tried them yet, definitely try the Wicked Opaques. Cool. Okay, that's good advice for someone who knows. I don't know. I haven't used the Wicked yet. I do use Drew Blair's, you know, 50/50 illustration white. So I really do love the Createx illustration colors. They're really good. Nick says he's been using Createx for the past 5 years, and he's agreed. He used most of their lines. Wow, that's great. And Brad says, as you were showing everyone, these India ink underpaintings are an excellent underpainting for pastel. Yes, really work great for pastel, great for acrylic, great for oil. You could use this if you're going to work in oil, and that is fantastic, because the thing is, India ink is waterproof. So if you go over it, you're not going to activate them. So that's really, really an amazing thing. So, but I would say the best method, if you are going, yeah, no, the India inks will work well as an underpainting for oils as well. Okay, so I think we're kind of neglecting her neck area. So let's see if we could work down there for a little bit, right? And then we have this little baby mid-tone here. So how you do that is, let's say you do the dark from, let's say, 2 inches, the mid-tone from, let's say, 4 inches, and then 8 inches for that real light area. It's a light shadow. So it's not white at all, but it's darker than white and lighter than the regular shadow. Actually, no. If you, Nicholas, if you look in the description of this video, there's a link to the inks that I use. I actually do sell them on my website, and they're on sale for only $19, $19.99 right now, and you get 7 inks, 2 light, 2 detail, 2 light, 2 medium, and a dark for only $19.99. And they're waterproof, and they're pre-mixed, and you just put them in the airbrush and go. I run my compressor at 25 psi, and I'm probably choking down with the pack valve to around between 20 and 15 psi. So they're really great. So give them a, if you have, go ahead and hit the link when you get a chance. It's in the description of this video. And I just did a real quick rundown of them on the website, so I'd love to hear your thoughts, definitely. Clutch says, Tim's inks allow you to work in shades without worry of getting too dark too fast. Thank you, sir. Yeah, too dark too soon, too fast, too bad, right? So it's so important, and the inks really keep you honest, right? Because with the detail mixture, it's almost impossible to go too dark too early. And so, you know, a lot of times people are using, when they're working in black and white, they're working in a value that's way too powerful, and that's when you go too dark too soon, you have nowhere to go, and that's where we run into trouble. So the inks are kind of born out of that. I always wanted to make sure I kept things light, because I originally created them exclusively for an underpainting of a pastel, and then they kind of evolved into their own medium. So, you know, the detail mixture really is just for those initial really light applications. And thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. Mike says the inks are awesome, and Nicholas says he's going to check them out. So it's like a candy paint. Yes, exactly. You work in layers, exactly, and you build it slowly. So that's very true. Hey, what's up, Film Factory? How's it going? Good to see you. How are you today? And yeah, so I think you would like it if you were used to that kind of way of doing it. I think that's great. So yeah, definitely. We have kind of an interesting value here, so I'm going to use my freehand shield, and I'm going to go perpendicular and not parallel. There we go. And over here in the corner, it's much lighter. So I'm going to use my eraser here, kind of calm this down, get rid of some of these pencil lines. I don't need them anymore. And it's good, but you have to make sure that you're at that point where you definitely don't need them, right? You don't want to get rid of them and say, "Ugh, now I have to figure out where that drawing was." So you don't want to get there. So right here on this line, it's a little darker. I'm going to go perpendicular and not parallel. So guys, even though I'm not feeling good today, I actually made it. So thank you so much for understanding of the bathroom breaks, and you know, maybe I was a little quieter than normal today, but you know, I really appreciate everyone hanging out with me. It's such an honor to hang out with such great people, and thank you so much for the super chats. That means the world to me, and you know, supporting that way, and supporting, you know, by purchasing the inks and the airbrush and taking the classes, everybody, to keep me alive. I really do appreciate that. Oh wow, Dave Bell would use that ink for his cartoons. Fantastic. Thank you. So Clutch says he wants me to pay attention how I'm feeling. Right, seriously, one of the most dangerous foods in the world. Thanks. I'm gonna just lay down and watch The Office and take it easy, you know. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everybody. You all are amazing. Nick, great to see you. Film Factory. Oh, Tony the Tiger. Good to see Great to see you, Tony. And everyone, you all have a wonderful rest of the week. And Brad, great to see you. Happy birthday, my friend. It's an honor to spend the birthday with you. I will check out the message, Clutch. Mike Deloach, Mike S., great to see you. Take care, all you guys. And next week, we're going to be here, God willing. And thank you again for making my Wednesday really cool.